Hi, I'm Claire and I blog at mumsymidwife.com. Today I'm doing a vlog about what you need to bear in mind if you're going back to work and you need to find a nursery or childcare for your little one. So I'm going back to work in August and now is the time that I'm thinking I need to find a nursery for my daughter. There's a few things that I had to bear in mind which I got as tips from other mums. I would love to hear from you, so if you've got anything that you'd like to add, please pop it in the comments below or send me a tweet or Facebook message. So number one, what days do you want? Do you want 1 day a week, 3 days a week, 2.5 days a week, 5 days a week? That needs to be bear in mind right from the start, because not every nursery or childminder can take a child for just 1 day, for example. If you need 5, you need to make sure there's enough room for them in that nursery that you want to send them to for the full 5 days. So sit down and write down what days you want to have your child in childcare before you start looking for a nursery. Number 2 is your budget. So how much are you willing to spend on the childcare? There are different options available. So obviously you've got a childminder that is sometimes considered a cheaper option. You could have an au pair if you were so inclined, or you can pay for a creche or nursery. Now every area has a different cost on how much it will be for a half day or a full session. But something also you should bear in mind is that not everywhere includes nappies and formula in the costing, and you need to make sure that you are aware of that in case you need to either bring that along or in case it is included, and therefore you don't have to worry about taking that and the cost of that in the week. Another thing to remember is that as your child gets bigger, you get free childcare hours. But if you've got a child over 3, you're entitled to 30 free childcare hours a week. And if you've got a child over 2 and you fulfill the criteria, then you're entitled to some free childcare hours as well. Have a little look on the internet for what you've got to do to claim those. Not every nursery accepts the free childcare hours, so that's something that you need to bear in mind as well. So number 3 is recommendation. So what you need to do is ask your friends and family where they send their kids to childcare. This is the biggest endorsement that you can have, because if they trust their children with them, then you can too usually. It's also worth asking them if there's anything that they looked for when they were looking at nurseries, because there may be something that you hadn't thought of, or something that's actually a really good tip to look out for that you hadn't got in mind. So see if they've got any questions that they asked when they went to find childcare for their children. It's worth having a look around different nurseries, making sure that the recommendations that you've been given sit well with you. Obviously what suits one family might not suit another. So number 4 is to look around a nursery not on an open day. Try and get it so that you can go and have a look around a nursery on a normal day of the week. Obviously if you want to go along to an open day as well, that's great. Sometimes they have free sign-ups if you go to the open evenings. So if you're going to save yourself some money, make sure that you check out that there's not any deals that can be done. Otherwise, try and get to see the nursery on a normal day of the week. It's important to see what their lives are like in the normal day-to-day, how the kids are they happy, what are they doing, is there anything that would concern you, are they eating something that you wouldn't want your child to eat, if it's at a meal time, that sort of thing. So make sure that you book an appointment. I'm not asking you to go around when you're not invited, but try and get it on a regular day. So number 5 is how easy is the place to get to. This is something that you might overlook in exchange for a good nursery, but it's also something that's really important if you're going back to work. You don't necessarily want a nursery that's in completely the opposite direction of where you're going, because obviously that means that you're going to have to go back on yourself to take them to nursery. In the evening, maybe if it's dark or if you're tired, that means you've got to go all the way back over there to pick your child up again. So make sure that it's easy to get to. Also make sure it's easy for other people to get to as well, in case they need to pick your kids up from school. So if you've got a grandparent or a sister or somebody that you think might actually pick your child up on the odd occasion, it needs to be easy for them to find as well. Number 6 is the opening hours. This is a big one for me because I'll be doing long days when I go back to work, so 13-hour shifts. My husband needs to take my daughter to nursery when we go back, so it needs to work with his working hours as well. Make sure the time is coinciding with your working day to make sure that you can get there and get back in the time that you need to, so that you're not late for work, or to make sure that you don't have to rush out of work early just to get them in time before it shuts. Number 7 is security. Something you perhaps wouldn't think about on the off chance, but it's something that's very important. How secure is it? Who do they let in? How easy is it for somebody else to take your child home? Obviously, in most situations, the answer will be not easy at all, very hard to get in, and they look for ID. But just double check, make sure that they've got good safety measures in place to make sure that they know who's taking the kids home, who's allowed on site, and that the people that are on site are checked and actually legitimate mums, dads, family members and workers. Number 8 is have a look at the menu. Something that is kind of an afterthought. You obviously spend a lot of time deciding what your child eats. If they're going to be at nursery, you need to make sure that they're eating something you're happy that they're eating. You may not be happy that they're eating chicken nuggets and chips, so make sure that the menu is something you're happy with, if it's something that you like, and that something your child will like. Also, if your child is young and is still being weaned, make sure that they have proper policies in place with regards to how they help feed your child, depending on the method that you've chosen, either baby-led or puree. So now I'm asking you to recommend what you looked at when you were picking a nursery for your child. So is there anything in particular that you wanted to ask? Anything that worked really well when you did ask it? Or any tips and tricks to finding somewhere that's good for your child? Leave them in the comments below, or send me a message on Twitter or Facebook, and I will definitely report back on what you've said in another vlog another time. But for now, that's it. So I'll see you soon, and thank you for watching.